All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Well, hopefully those settings should work. For those of you that's just coming in, I was just messing a little with my Zoom settings, trying to figure out why it's giving me why it's making the window so small. I have an idea as to why, but I'm still trying to figure, Zoom is just being Zoom. Anyway, so we'll see if that fixes it. All right. Welcome, guys, to another exciting class. Oh, hold on. Let me turn off the waiting room. Okay, here we go. All right. I see most of us are fully present. I still see a few people that don't have a um, profile picture yet. Right, Swaby? Right, Combs? Um, Remember, guys, you have the option between profile picture and camera always on, right? So that is how we roll in computing. All right. Um, so I saw that a few people submitted some work, which is good. But still, it was a minority, so I'm already kind of concerned with everyone's submission. Um, I'm just taking a look here. By the way, don't forget, guys, that you can at any time go ahead and check your grades. 3D modeling. Right, you just go to the check grades section on the website and you just scroll over until you reach the different checkpoints. Please pay attention. Sometimes I leave some comments for the different checkpoints. If I don't leave a comment, it doesn't mean that your work is not good. But usually I leave a comment, especially when there's an error or something with your drawing, or you need to resubmit or something like that. Um, Sometime I will leave um specific comments. Second here. Right. So please don't forget to check your comments whenever you check your grades, right? So let me see what the latest is here.
Excuse me, good morning, sir.
Yeah, man,
Did
morning.
you get to check on my name? My ID number was missing.
You still seeing it missing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man. And it was fixed. Let me see here. Right. There was a couple. Yeah. So it was fixed. So let's give it a little while and it should come on, because when I check it here, let's see. No. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, are you sure you registered for the class site?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't know. It should be popping up, but for some reason it's not. All right, I'm going to check to make sure that all the data enter okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Evelyn, what's up?
I submitted my work last week, but it's not showing up in grades.
All right. Well, my perhaps you submitted after after I marked.
I submitted it at 10, the same day at 10 p.m. So
Hold on.
it was before 12.
Which one? The one that we did last week? The foundation?
Yeah, the foundation, yeah, I submitted that one.
I'm not seeing it in the submission list. On the same day too?
Yeah, the same day around 10.
Check the are you sure it's the right checkpoint you submitted?
I submitted at I think I submitted it in the, I don't know, I didn't know which checkpoint.
Okay, right.
Because that's why I think I submitted it as 3D terrain only.
Right. Yes. By the way, guys, thank you for bringing that up, Evelyn. Yeah, there was an error with the form because we change it around every year, and I updated it. So, for example, when you go to the handout to submit the work, one of them said foundation and site, and one of them said terrain only. It should have been the other way around because I think last year we did the terrain first. So so notice that I changed it. It says submit 3D foundation only, and then it says submit 3D foundation on terrain. So right, so that's what this is. So I have already updated the form in case some of you wondering, oh, but I only have the foundation and I don't have the terrain. So you probably would have been a little confused as to where to submit it. So all right, no problem, Sarto. So I will check the one that you submitted it to. As a matter of fact, can you just submit it? You have the file there. You can just, are you already modified the file?
No, I have that file.
Good. So when you go back to the form, it should be updated, and you just click on this that says submit 3D foundation only, and this is what it would look like. So it's only asking you for the foundation. So yeah, so that's one update that I made, guys. All right.
Sir, but I need my point though.
Yeah, man, definitely. So let's take a look at our schedule. So today is the 29th. So we are pretty much done. 29th? Yeah, we're pretty much almost done with checkpoint 2. Hold on a second. Let me check this on my schedule here. Okay. Okay, checkpoint 2. I'm just double checking the dates, guys, to make sure that way. Checkpoint 2. No, we want to make today's the 29th. So we're gonna carry checkpoint 2 to the 4th. 10. 4th. Right. Okay, good. Because I have checkpoint 2 finishing last week, but we only finished part of checkpoint 2 because we couldn't do everything in the time. Right? So the schedule here. Come on. Go across. Right. So checkpoint 2 is gonna go, you're gonna have until Saturday to submit that the rest of checkpoint 2. Oh, no, I see why it's supposed to be today. All right. So what I had was actually correct. The rest of checkpoint 2 we would have done in class today because it's going to be pretty short, which is the terrain. Yes, I remember now. So right, so it's not on Saturday. As a matter of fact, so next week we're gonna move into checkpoint 3. All right, guys. So we have 2 things that we're gonna tackle today. I'm gonna introduce you guys to the family editor, and then we're gonna have the terrain to build, and then you just submit the terrain for me, which is going to be pretty straightforward. All right. So next week is the 6th. 10, 6. Right. So, all right. So I've updated the timeline to represent what we're going to be doing, because we're going to start checkpoint 3 next week, and we're going to finish with checkpoint 2 today. All right. I might give you it's a 29, 38. You guys have studio on Tuesdays, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Fridays. Tuesdays
And Friday. Yeah, man. All right. All right, guys. So what we're going to do today is you should have your foundations in Revit, at least for those of you that submitted. I see some other person submitted after I marked. That's fine. You do have up until Wednesday, I did it for, to finish submitting all of checkpoint 2, right? Check this thing here. So no. All right, so this should update in a bit. Right, so you do have until Wednesday to submit for checkpoint 2, right? Which is going to be October 1st. So just to keep track of where we are, so far, you guys submitted checkpoint 1, which was the designing of your lookout tower. We started in Sketch, and then you did a line drawing that had more dimensions. And then last week, we built the foundation, right? So now we need to put the foundation on the terrain, right? So, before we do that, what I want us to do is a little class activity for today, right? So, as you know, the deal, class activity is going to pop up randomly throughout the module. If you participate in the class activity, then you get the points. I did promise you guys double points last week, right? If you submitted the terrain on the same day, you get points towards your class activity. Did I do that? I think I did. All right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So for those of you that submitted the terrain in class, like on the day last week, you will get points towards your class activity. You can check your class activity progress on the website. You scroll down, use the class activity. So activity 2 is going to be the terrain, right? And you will see that updating a little bit. Activity 3 is what we're going to do today, and it's kind of cool. So what we're going to do is to make an object to put on our deck, right? So we should have, I'm going to open where I am in the model. So remember the deal, guys. As long as you are traveling with me, you should be fine, right? When I say traveling with me, meaning if you are where I am in the model, then you should be fine in terms of completing the major project, all right? And where I am is working on the foundation. All right, here we go. So from here, let's libraries. Hold on, I'm just looking for my files. Come on, computer, faster, faster, faster. Okay. Okay. I'm just waiting on Revit, guys. That's what I'm doing. Okay, good. Finally. All right. So this is where I kind of left off with you guys. No, maybe hold on. I think I did reach a little bit further than that. Okay, right. So I had my foundations, and when I was marking some of your work, I realized that you are at a similar location. What we're going to do for our class activity today is that we're going to add a bench on our model. Now, all of us have different models, but all of us should have a bench. You can find somewhere to put it. And in order to create that object, we're not going to download that object from the internet. We're actually going to model it, right? So most of you probably, most of you have used SketchUp already. Yeah, you have, right, Elena? You remember using SketchUp? Is Elena here?
Sir?
You remember SketchUp?
Actually, oh yeah, I do.
Right. So normally when we wanted to create something, the last time we were doing modeling, we would jump into SketchUp and we'd use the push-pull tool and all of that. But let's say that you're in Revit and you need to create an object, right? There is a tool in object. Yeah, there is a tool in Revit that allows you to create objects, right? And I wanted to show you this quickly. Revit has two modeling environments, right? So when you open Revit afresh, so for example, this is Revit here now, and let me close these other projects here. Right, when you open Revit, it looks like this, where you can see all your work that you worked on, and then you see down here, you notice this family section, right? So the way that Revit imports objects into your project is through the family editor, right? So in the family modeling environment, that file is called a RFA file. Has anybody ever come into contact with this file before? I think we know RVT. Anybody?
Yes,
RFA? Right, because you probably go on the internet and you download a lot of models. So for example, if you go on there's a ton of websites out there. Here. So, and we're gonna actually visit one of these sites maybe a little later. For example, this one that has Revit content. This one is called BIM Smith. It has different categories. So for example, you can look at doors, and then it has all of these door families here that you can download. It has furnitures and all sorts of stuff. We're going to look at that a little later, but what if you want to make your own object? So that is what we're going to look at today in our class activity. And the idea is that with Revit, a lot of times you download an object and it's not exactly what you want, and you usually have to modify it. So knowing how to use the family editor, you're able to modify the object. So the thing is, the family editor is very deep. Like, there are people that go to work every day and they only work in the family editor. They have never built a wall in Revit before. There are manufacturers that hire people to just build their objects as a family file so that the architect's firm can have their objects to use, and hence they get better sales, right? So a lot of times if you go like on General Electric's website, they have CAD models for all of their equipment so that you can just insert that CAD model directly in your BIM model. Now, we're not going to build something overly complex. We're going to just investigate the family editor just so you guys understand how it works, and we're going to put an object in our model. So I want you guys to just follow along, right? It's really simple, and we're not going to dive too deep in the family editor. We're just going to kind of swim on the surface a little. All right. So the family editor, when you in Revit's family modeling environment, it takes on 3 modes. You have one that's called in-place modeling. You have one that's called conceptual mass. And then we have one that's called the family modeling environment. So these are the 3 ways that you can insert objects into your Revit model. Now, the conceptual mass, we're going to use that next semester when we're doing BIM. We're going to use the family modeling environment today. The in-place modeling, we might touch that in another class activity. We'll see how that goes. But the family modeling environment, guys, is super important for you to at least have an idea of how it works. So I want you guys to just fire up Revit. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this very simple bench. I've placed it all the way over here. And oops, let me just drag it over here. So this is on the mirror board. If you jump on the mirror board, you can get it real quickly. All right. Very simple bench. Like, I know that if I give Kristen this bench to model in SketchUp, you would model it in like, how long, Kristen? Like 2 minutes? Is Kristen here?
Hello.
No? Yes. How long would you take to model this bench in SketchUp, Kristen?
Probably like 2 minutes, 3. It's so short.
Right, because it's simple, don't?
Yeah.
The trick is, if you had your project, your studio project, and you needed a bench real quick, and let's say that it was very specific, so you just say, sure, let me just model it because I can't find it on 3D Warehouse or wherever, the bench that I want. The thing is, if you're modeling in SketchUp, you can import it in Revit, but it doesn't show up properly when you start to generate your drawing. So when you have your plan view and your section view, it doesn't inject all of the Revit functionalities, right? So it's not represented it doesn't follow the rules of Revit because it wasn't built in Revit. And that is a trick about using models outside of Revit. So Revit has this whole family editor, which it's not like SketchUp for sure. It's way more sophisticated, but it doesn't mean that you can't use it to build simple stuff. So I want you guys to follow Fire Up Revit, and let's take a swing at building this bench, right? So I'm going to put this over here, and I have this off to the right, and then I'm going to have Revit over here, all right? There we go. I'm going to minimize you. There we go. Come on. Here. Okay, Revit. Where did you go? Where did you go? There. Oh. Okay. Okay. There we go. All right. So when you get to your title screen here, what you're going to do is, normally when you open Revit, you would go to new project, which is what we did the last time. But this time you're going to go to new family. So on the families, you click new. Then you're going to get this window. And this is an important window. What this is asking you is, what type of family do you want to create, right? So remember, families are the way Revit imports like object into your project. This time around, we're creating a family from scratch, which is different than when we download it from Revit City or wherever, right? So when you choose new family template, you're going to get these options. And these are the different types of family that you can create in Revit. Everything from door to fire alarm. Of course, we're going to be looking for the furniture template. And we're going to choose open. All right, so this is what it looks like. All right. So when you open the family editor for any one of those templates, it's going to look something like this, and you will see these crosshairs in the middle of your screen. When you click on the crosshair, you will notice that you have a little pin here, which means that it is pinned so you don't move them. So this crosshair, so that's that pin that you see here. This crosshair represents the center of your scene, right? We're going to leave that intact. Now, where are you? Here we go. So our idea is that we want to make this bench, because the bench is a type of, because it is a type of furniture, that's why we're in the furniture category. So I guess you might be wondering, okay, but what if I wanted to create furniture and I create it in a door category? Well, it just means that Revit isn't going to read it as furniture, it's going to read it as door, right? And the characteristics of a door is that you can insert it in a wall, right? It has a height, it has a width, it opens, it closes. That's different. That's a different characteristic than a piece of furniture. So you can model any model in any category, but that's just going to make your life harder. All right, guys. All right. So when you go to the family editor, on your left-hand side here, well, for me, it's on the left. If you're using the default Revit, you probably have it like this. Like this, because I think this is how Revit is by default. So you have your properties on top and your project browser below. So if you remember your project browser from when you're in the project, it have the different levels, right? This time around, it has different views. So right now it is on a floor plan view. So this is a top view of your scene. Then you have left, right, and then you have a 3D view. So the first thing we're going to do is in the family, whenever you're creating anything in families, you're going to be under the create tab. And this is interesting here because this create tab doesn't exist when you're in project view, right? So right away you realize that your ribbon is a little different when you're in the family editor. It's almost like you're using a new program.
How we get to this modify reference plane?
Oh, the reason why this is highlighted is because I clicked it. So remember how Revit works? Once you click on an object, you get the modify for that object, right? So for example, I'm going to open my project in the background and you guys can have your project open as well if you want.
So we're to open a new file?
No. Well, okay. What I did so far is that I went to families and I choose new.
Oh, families. Oh,
right.
So
it's not a project, right? So you see models and you see families. So all along we've been creating a BIM model. That is where we created that is what we're working in to create our tower project, right? But this time around, we're going to be creating a new family. So when you go new family, you have to choose a template. Right. So this is my project and how far I've reached in my project. Notice when you're in the project part of Revit, up here it has architecture, structure, steel, all of this stuff. This is what it looks like in the project environment. However, when you're in a family environment, notice that it's different. You see create, insert, annotate, like you get this new tab called create. So it's as I said, it's almost like you're using a different program per se. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to establish just the boundaries for the object we created. And usually that's where you start first whenever you're modeling anything in Revit from scratch, right? So I can see that this bench is 88 inches long and 20 inches wide. And in your family editor, one of the most important tools that you're going to be using is called a reference plane. Now, there are reference planes in the project part of Revit, but we don't use it that much. One of the things that you might notice is missing from the family editor is levels. I don't know if you remember when we were doing the foundation, you remember how important levels were? We created a level for almost everything. And I noticed some of you followed suit, which is good, because that's the way that levels is supposed to be used. In a way, levels is kind of like a reference plane, because a reference plane meaning that it's just a reference. How high is this object from this reference plane, or how low is it from this reference plane? As the key word in there is reference. So, for example, these are two reference planes, but we're going to create our own. So I'm going to go to create and I'm going to choose reference plane. Now you have something called reference line. We're not going to use that one. We're going to use reference plane.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
All right. When I open the family, it gives me something called said English and also that's like a folder.
No, but hold on. You're not opening a family, you know. You're creating one. Opening a family would mean like you downloaded a family from the internet and you're opening it.
So after I go to families, what do I press?
You go to new. You're creating a new family.
So I press new and then I see the family template come up.
Right.
And then I see Chinese, Czech, English.
Oh, okay. Right. So if you see that, hold on. Right. So when you go to new family, Let me see.
Yeah, that's what I think.
You see this come up.
Right.
So go to
And
English Imperial, and then you will see a list of all the different family types that you can create.
Right.
Or rather, all the different families you can create.
So, and then after I go here, what I do?
You're looking for furniture.
Oh, furniture.
Right. Because we're creating a piece of furniture.
Got you.
So each one of these are just empty files, but they are pre-configured. So when you create this object, Revit will identify it as a piece of furniture.
Got you.
It's like Kristen said, she could model this bench in 5 minutes in SketchUp. But when you import the SketchUp into Revit, Revit can't identify this thing that you imported. It doesn't have a category, and because it doesn't have a category, it doesn't have a way that it can apply line weight and shades and overrides and all the features that Revit have. It wouldn't be able to apply it to this bench that you import from a different software.
Got you.
This is one of the reasons why we would create the object in Revit itself. All right, so the first thing we're going to do when we open Revit is just to kind of create an outline of where the bench will be in plan, right? So we're going to go to create. Before we start to extrude or model anything, we just want to have some guidelines, some reference lines. Hence the term reference plane, right? So make sure you use reference plane, that reference line, to get them mixed up, right? All right, so I'm going to use reference line, and I'm just going to draw a line randomly, draw one randomly like this. I'm not putting any measurements to it. I'm just drawing 4 lines like this. And from a top view, this would represent where my bench is going to go. Now, in Revit, whenever you're creating stuff, you want to just draw the rough thing first, and then you modify it to what you want, rather than trying to draw it exact. So notice that the idea is that my bench would, if I look from my bench in a top view, it would land somewhere like this, and see the pieces of wood there on top. So these reference plane is just representing the boundaries of that bench. Now, obviously, I need to change the dimension of them. So what I'll do now is I'll click on this one of the reference line, and I know already that the bench is 20 inches wide. So I can just drag this till this says 20 inches. Or I could just click in there and type 20 inches. There we go. So that's 20 inches. Actually, it wasn't far off. The length of the bench is supposed to be 88 inches. So I'm going to just click in here and go 88 inches. Type that there. Now, notice how this works. If I have this line selected and then I change the dimension, then this line will move. If I have this line selected and change a dimension, then this line will move. That's just the way our Revit works. So I'm just going to extend these lines down. All right. So
and those lines we find where? What we just draw?
These are under create. They're called reference lines.
Reference line, okay.
All right. So this represents the outer parts of our bench. Remember, guys, this is not homework. This is classwork, right? So you just submit this after class. That's the only window to submit this work. All right, guys. So if you remember, we have 2 things we're going to build today. We're going to build this thing real quick, and then we're going to work on our terrain. All right, so this is the outer part of our bench, right? Now, this could be anywhere in your scene. If you chose to do it over here, if you chose to do it down here, it doesn't matter. But I would say, let's not intersect with these lines yet, because I don't want you guys to get confused, because some of you are just using the family editor for the first time, right? All right, now the next thing our bench has, we have these 4 legs that are there, right? That's these these 4 legs that we see here. So we want to be building these. And what these are, it's simply a box that is extruded, right? Like that. It's just an extruded box. You guys use SketchUp already, so this should be like easy breezy. Now in Revit, in order to create this, remember we're in plan view here. So we're going to go to create again, and notice that you have extrusion, bend, revolve, and sweep and sweep blend. So when you're in the family editor, that's the only time you get these modeling tools. These modeling tools doesn't exist in the project editor. So for example, if you wanted to build a bench when you're in the project file, you would have to build that bench with walls and floors and slabs, which of course is incorrect because a bench is not walls and floors and columns, right? So the project environment doesn't have these modeling tools because Revit doesn't want you to build custom models in the project environment. It wants you to build custom models in a family modeling environment, and then you put it in your project. All right, that's a very important concept to understand. So this is why Revit doesn't even give you these tools in the project environment, right? Or it kind of does, but the best, I would say, the best usage of Revit is for you to do all of your modeling in the family environment. All right, so we're going to use these tools. Now, of course, which one of these tools you think we're going to use, Elena?
Wait, I'm sorry, sir?
Which one of these tools do you think we need in order to build the legs of our bench?
Oh, we could use extrusion.
Right, that's pretty straightforward, right? That question would be too easy to grade, right? So that's why I wouldn't ask you. I wouldn't grade that question.
Not too easy, sir. Nothing's never too easy.
All right, so we're going to go to extrude and we're going to click it. Now, when we click extrude, notice what happens. We enter into what's called a sketch mode. So you get this new dialog box here, and then you have these shapes that are here. So these shapes are basically saying, okay, in order to, you remember you're inside the sketching tool set. So basically it's saying that, okay, if I should use a circle and I draw a circle, then it's going to extrude it upwards. If I should use a square and I draw a square, it's going to extrude it upwards, and so forth and so forth. So all of these sketch tools are asking you to draw the profile of what you want to extrude. All right. All right. So what we're going to do is right. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the rectangle tool, and we know that from our diagram here, this says that it is a 4x4, 4" by 4". So I'm going to start at this corner and I'm going to draw a 4x4 box. Now I can actually just change this until it reaches to 4 on this side and it reaches to 4 on that side, right? Or
sorry, what is the width of the bench again?
The width, remember it is on the mirror board,
okay,
right? But just so you know, it's 20 inches.
Okay.
Right. So this is 4" by 4", and I'm going to click once. So this is my sketch that is here. Now, if I look in, notice that I'm still in sketch mode, and you see this big X and this tick here. So Revit is saying, okay, do you want to confirm this or do you want to cancel it? Now, if you look on this side over here, you notice that these are the options when you are in extrude mode. It's asking you, how high do you want this to extrude? So the default is 1 foot. Now, you can see that here is the height that we want, right? We can see that that is 18. And then this is a 2x4, right? So we're going to take the 4 from the 18. So we know that this should go up 12 inches, right? So that is how much our extrusion should be. So I'm going to put, actually 1 foot is there already. So that's actually correct. So I'm going to tick yes. And that's it. Now remember that I'm in plan view. So if I go to 3D view here, that is one leg of my bench. That is essentially what you are seeing here. All right, now notice when you're in plan view, you don't get the reference lines, right? And what I want us to do is I want us to put the plan view. I want you to put it side by side. And the way how you do this, you just drag this out. Let's put it on this side. Hopefully we have enough space for that. So on the left hand side here, I have a 3D view. And on the right hand side here, I have my plan view. If I click on this object in plan view, notice that you see it in 3D view, right? So you're able to keep track of what you're doing. So I want you guys to try and arrange your window this way, where you have the plan here and the 3D view here. As I said, notice that you don't see your reference planes in 3D, but it's there only in 2D. All right, so all I need to do now is I need to copy these a few times. So we all know this already because we've used the copy command already. So the shortcut is CO, right? And we're going to copy it here. And we're going to select these two guys and we're going to copy it up here. All right.
Sir, what did you do to get the box again?
It's under create. So I go to create and I use the extrude tool.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Sir,
Yeah, man.
how can my lines are really thick? What's the best way for me to adjust that?
Right up here, where you see this thin line, if you click it, you can toggle the line weight on and off.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, now we need to put these members here on top of this here. And to do that, we're going to use the extrude tool again. Now here's the trick, guys. When you're using Revit, especially in both in the project mode and the family editor, if I am, anytime I draw, there is what's called a work plane. And a lot of people forget about this in Revit because you don't see it, right? So the work plane tells you what axis you're currently working in. So for example, to access your work plane, it's on the right here. If you're under the create menu, it's under the right here where it says work plane. So if I say show my work plane, notice you see this blue line here. So what this is saying is that anything I draw is based on this work plane. So for example, if I go to my extrude and I choose to draw a circle, the circle is going to be on this work plane, which means that it's going to extrude up. So if I wanted something to extrude this way, I would have to change my work plane like this. So by default, Revit has work planes that are working in the background. I'm going to cancel that extrude. That are working in the background. And usually it's off by default, but you can show it. So the idea is that I would want to draw a shape like that and extrude it that way. Ugh. Right, and I would want to extrude it that way. But in order to do that, my work plane has to be like this. All right, are you following, Lisa? Do you understand when I'm explaining work planes in Revit?
Yes, sir.
Right. As long as my work plane is on the ground, any form of extruding I do will always go up. All right. Now you can change your work plane at any time. So if under the create menu, notice there's a thing here to set my work plane, or I could also change my view. So notice this is a 3D view here. This is a plan view. If I go to, for example, the back view, this is what my back view looks like, which means that I am viewing the 3D view like either from this way or from that way. All right, so if I go to a front view, notice it looks the same way. And if I go to a left or a right view, right, if I go to a left or a right view, notice that it looks that way. Now, what you notice is, I'm going to go to my 3D view on this side. Oops, no, that's the wrong project. 3D view on this side. Right. So what you notice is that when I go to my side view, I'm seeing those reference planes. So let me go to top view and side view, because this point is important. All right, guys. So notice that these 4 reference planes that I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And from a plan view, I can see them. From a front view, I can see them because this reference plane here is this line here. Is it? Let me make sure. No, it's actually the other one. Right. So this reference plane, is this line here. So remember what I told you guys, that a reference plane is really a plane, meaning that it's not a line that you only see in one view. Think of it as almost like a working plane. So from a plan view, I can see it. From an elevation view, I can see it. Right? Because I chose to be on the back view here, it means that I'm looking from this direction that's here, right? That's the direction I'm looking. And when I'm looking from this direction, I am seeing these 2 reference planes. All right? So this is a critical thing to understand, especially in the family editor, guys. It's all about planes and reference planes, because that is how you create your model. All right. Okay. So let's continue. Now, if I wanted to build this member, that means that I could be in a back or front view and then go to my create menu. And then I would create an extrusion again. Like this. I'll just use the box again. And I'm creating a 2x4. Like that. Now, the reason, remember, if I'm in a back view that's here, let me go to my 3D view. Notice that because I'm drawing this in my back view, automatically that has created a working plane for me like this. So when I extrude, I will go this way. But if I tried to create this from a plan view, it would have gone up. So that means you need to change your view in order to have your work plane adjusted to determine where you're going to extrude from. All right, cool. So again, it's going to ask me what is my extrusion length. It says 1 foot by default. This time I know that it's going to be maybe less than 88 inches, but I'm not going to worry about that length yet. I'm just going to tick yes. And the reason for that is that I can adjust these easily in the 3D view, right? I don't have to go into the extrude tool to extrude. I can just grab these handles and change it, which is very handy. So before I place this member here, I'm going to go back to my plan view, right? So my reference level. And I actually need to make an edit here because even though this is 88 inches, the legs actually come in 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this. Now, I'm going to create another reference line. So I'm going to copy this CO, and I'm going to copy this 2 inches. And I'm going to copy this 2 inches. Then I'm going to move these down to this point. Now I'm just clicking and dragging because in Revit it auto snaps for you. So I can just select these two guys and I can just drag it, and Revit will snap it for you on that point. All right, great. So now I have these. So now this member here, I know will go to this outer mark. Now, instead, I can always drag these down to this outer mark, but I want us to use up some different tools. I'm going to use the trim extend tool, because that's like the greatest tool ever. So you just click on that, click where you want the thing to extend to, and then click the place that you want to extend. Oh, hold on, do this right again. How is it the other way? I can't do it from this view. Oh, I can't do it from plan. Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. Just extend it that way and extend it this way. Oh, sorry, not trim extend, align. I want to use the align tool, which is this one here. Shortcut is AL. Right. So yeah, I just click where I want to align it from. And then I click the face that I want to align. Do the same thing here and click this face. So that way I don't have to be dragging. So the align tool is pretty cool with that. It's not the trim and extend. Even though the trim and extend does a similar thing, but trim and extend would only work with line or wall. It wouldn't work with an extrude. All right, so I have this first point here. So if I look at this in 3D, this is what it looks like. So all I need to do now is I just need to copy this on this side. So I can actually do this in 3D view. I can go CO copy. No, let's do it from elevation view. Copy from here to there. All right, cool. Now next I need to get the member that goes across like this. Actually, this stops along here actually, so this should come down to this point. Right, so I'll use the align tool again, which shortcut is AL. and I'll just align those. So I click this face, click that face, click this face, click that face. Right, that is how it should be. All right, Marville, how can I get the member that that goes in the other direction? This one here.
I think based on what you just did, you'd have to change your plane. I guess.
Right. So I would have to.
You have to go the elevation, look from the front view.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So hold on. This is actually slightly off when I zoom in. So yeah, I want to move this here. Yeah. Right. So guys, check your thing. Make sure that it doesn't have any off dimensions. This one here says off too. I'm going to move it this way. All right, so you're right, Marvin. I would need to change my view. So what I would do is I would go to maybe a left or right view. So for example, this view here, and I would do the same thing. I would now go to create, and I would go to extrude. And I will just draw another 2x4 here. Now, when I draw it here, if I go to the 3D view, notice that this is all the way down here. Like, why is it that I am not drawing right here? So I'm drawing all the way down here. And
probably that's where the plane is.
Exactly. That is right. Because if I go to create, and I keep saying, a lot of people forget about their planes. Like, you know, like they're drawing something and wonder, why this thing there so well? Because Revit turns it off by default. So if I go to show, notice that this is where my work plane is. It's all the way down here. Now, of course, I can just extrude this and then move it. But let's say you wanted the work plane to be here, right? Then I would need to go to set and say set a work plane. Revit now is going to be asking you, okay, how do you want to set the work plane? Do you want to go by name? Do you want to pick a plane? So for example, I could say, all right, I want to select this plane right here. And I want that to be my work plane. You can actually choose a plane. Or do you want to use it from a line, right? So right. So in this case, let's say I pick a plane, choose OK, and I'm going to select. Notice I can choose any one of these planes, but it has to be going in that direction. So I'm going to choose this plane here. Then what you notice, this suddenly comes right here. So don't forget about your work plane. So I'm going to choose OK now, and it's just going to make this 1 foot, but that's okay. I can just extend this down to there. Or as I would recommend to use the align tool. So here's the icon, or AL is a shortcut. I would select this face and then align it like that. All right, next I want to copy this, so I can use the top view for that one. And I will just copy this up to here. All right, guys, so this is what we should have so far. It would be a good time to save. So I'm going to go to, if I click save here, it's going to bring up the save dialog box because you cannot override the templates, right? It's going to ask me where I want to save. I'm going to save it on the desktop and I'm going to call it bench. Remember, when I save this, it is a RFA file. not a RVT. RVT is a project file. RFA is a family file, right? Those are two completely different files. Okay. Hold on a second. All right. All right. Now for the last part.
How do you remove the line weight again?
It's this icon up here.
Yeah, I can't see.
Oh, can you see that one there?
Okay.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Hold on a sec here. All right, guys. So those of you who are catching up, hurry up and catch up. Hurry up and copy the legs and everything. We're just about to finish. We're gonna go to the last part now, which is the one of the most interesting. Well, which is the top of the bench.
You see, sir, some of us don't have two screens in. So
yeah, you have to be switching back and forth. Yeah, man.
So when we try to switch over to see what you're doing. Yeah, so you probably have to give us like a little 5 to 10 minutes to kind of do what we need to do, and they say, all right, ready back again, I'll come back over. You know what I'm saying?
I know. That's why I'm kind of insert a little pause now. Just make you catch up with copying the legs and the top and all that.
The leg already, now we need to put in those side braces.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
But we don't want you to start something else and we don't do that yet.
Yeah, man, I see you. How are we looking at time? Okay, we should soon be there. Well, okay, all right. Do you think? Also, the additional thing is that you can. I'm gonna give you till today to submit. Because remember, you can submit it all the way during class. So even if you don't quite get it there now, because we need to insert this and then build the terrain. So I want to jump into that. So I will give you some extra time in case I go away or leave you a little bit, just to make sure we can fit everything in the time. Oh, this is another website that has free stuff. Oh. All right, so we are gonna proceed, and as I say, guys, remember I'm gonna have the recording there and everything. I'll give you some time to wrap up, but I want to keep it moving, right? So now we need to do the top parts, and these lengths here are 1x2s, right? So I'm gonna go to a top view. This is, I mean, from a top view, all I need, I could either, this is an important thing to consider. In order to get, go to a 3D view here, right? In order to get these pieces here, right? And this is the kind of questions you're going to find yourself when you're modeling most times, is I could either draw it in this work plane and extrude up, or I could draw it in this work plane and extrude across. I want Dushan to tell me, which way do you think is better? I hear Dushan. No? Going once, going twice? Mateo, which one do you think is better?
I think both of them good.
No, man, the answer is not both. Pick one.
I'm gonna say side view.
Which one?
Side view.
Why?
Because you know the width and the height. But I mean, yeah, the side view easy. You could just copy each one until you reach. But you could do it for your top view, so that's why I say both.
Right. Now, here is a rule of thumb, guys. Whenever you have to extrude, okay, it's not necessarily a rule of thumb. There's no really wrong way, kinda, but think about it in how it the whatever you're extruding, how it's actually built in reality. Because or maybe what you would think of is how you plan to modify it later down the line. So for example, it is likely that when I extrude this way, I can change it, the length of the extrude. The extrude is going to have a start and an end. So I would choose the long way, but it don't mean that this is necessarily wrong, but it's just that what I plan to do with this after. So remember, when I extrude from this way, that's here. Remember, my work plane is going to always be here. And in Revit, your work plane does not change, right? So for example, when I extrude this way, anything inside of this extrusion is always basing its work plane here. So, because you can modify an extrusion, you know. So let's say, for example, that I had this extrusion here, and I said, I want to change this shape from a square, right? Maybe I want to change it to a T or something like that. Well, I could double click and now I'm back to this shape here, and then I can go in and I can modify. I can modify this extrusion. Come on. Like that. And then I choose OK. And then notice that this leg is changed. You guys see that? So each of these extrusions that you made, you can go into them and change them. But remember that because this extrusion was originally built with the work plane below, that means that I can only modify this shape in this direction. So let me give it, I'm going to undo that change. Undo. Right. Suppose I wanted something to be modified in this direction. Like something like let's go again. Suppose I wanted it to be something like this. Because I already have my work plane going in this direction. I have my work plane going up. There's no way I could do that, like, because this is going in that direction. So I can't have two different extrudes going in two different work plane directions at the same time. You understand? So this is why when you're building a extrusion, you should think about where my work plane is, because maybe I want to modify it later, and then because of where I draw the work plane, I wouldn't be able to edit that later on. So with that said, I would rather do the extrusion using this work plane here and extrude that way. All right, guys? So to do that, I'm going to use my front back view. I'm going to go to create extrusion, and I'm going to use the rectangle again. So this is a 1 by...
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah?
Could you repeat why you want to the extrusion, what you were explaining a while ago, why you want to do it a certain way?
Because I'm just thinking about the future of, remember, once you create an extrusion with a work plane, anything else you create in that extrusion always has to use that work plane. So I was giving the example that if I wanted to have this shape, have something that shoots off like this, this requires a work plane going that way. But this extrusion that I originally made is a work plane going that way. So I can't create this shape in this extrusion. I would have to create a new extrusion. I would have to create a new work plane extrusion going this way, and then a work plane extrusion going that way. So I'm saying that this is why you want to choose the direction that you extrude in. So let me give you another example. So if, remember, you can double click and modify an extrusion, I can go here and do another shape in this extrusion, click OK, and I have a totally different shape here. But any shape that I want to create is always going to be based off of the fact that my working plane was on the ground. You get what I'm saying? So you would want to choose where your working plane is based on what you plan to do with that extrusion. You know what I mean?
Okay, I understand.
Right. It's not like it's right or wrong, but you're just thinking down the line. Oh, I'm going to have something that go this way. So it's better put the extrusion in that way because it work out better for me. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
the more we go on and do more advanced modeling, you will kind of see where this comes into play more. These are simple box shapes, so we can get around easily. But when you have more complex shape and you're building something, you're going to be like, when you're done, you're like, crap, I should have made this in another work plane because of how you plan to use it and where you plan to position it. You know what I mean? So the more you use it, the more you get used to it. Anyway, so we want to create a work plane going this way now. So I'm going to go to the extrude work plane. And this is a 1x2. So this should be 1 like that. And you can see that this is all the way down here, right? And as usual, I could set this work plane, because right now if I go to show, this work plane is down here, but I could go to set and go pick a plane and say, hold on, choose OK, and then put my work plane here, and then it would start the extrusion here. Of course, I could move the extrusion if I wanted to afterwards, but okay, for example, so if I choose OK here, and this is my extrusion, it's going to say, okay, my extrusion is going negative because this is 0 and this is negative. But let me edit this again. If I place my work plane, let me put the work plane all the way down here. So this is where it was. Let me go show work plane. Oops. If my work plane was all the way down here, right, and I choose OK, yes, I can just adjust this. So I could say, come on, I could say this is here, and I could adjust this to be here, right? Same result, right? Same result, even though my work plane is for this object is all the way down here. But notice when I click on it, it's not starting at 0. It's starting at negative 1 foot 4 inches, and that is because the work plane is actually way down here. So it's not that is something that can work, but it's usually best practice that if I really wanted to put this thing here, to be neat, I would move the work plane where it's supposed to actually start from, usually. So I would say, let me do a right view. All right, put this over here. All right, so this work plane that I'm looking at now, oops, right, come on. This work plane that I'm looking at now is here, right? This is that work plane there. Ideally, I would want my work plane to be here because I would want to extrude going that way. You know what I mean? I could still extrude it from here, but it would just be nicer if it was here, right? Close this. Right. Right. So I can go to set work plane, and let me see, pick a plane, pick a line. Let me choose pick a line. Let me see if this works. No, I can't pick a line this way. So because it's not a reference line, it's a reference plane. I could pick a plane. I could just pick this plane and work with that one. Choose OK. All right. So then now my extrusion, I can just carry it down to there and carry it all the way to there. And then I have my first line like this. So I hope you guys get an idea of what reference planes and work plane is. This is a big part of modeling in the family editor and modeling in Revit on a whole, right? All right, so now I have a few of these going across, and the last lesson for you guys to learn with this little exercise is that, let me go to my top view here. How am I going to copy these evenly across this space? I know what this space is, and I know what the length of each of these are. but how do I make it even? Now, in order to do that, what I would do is I would create another reference line, so a reference plane. So remember, try to use reference planes as much as possible. Think of it as like construction lines or guidelines when you're drawing. So I would use a reference plane, and I would put that reference plane in the center of my piece of wood here. By the way, guys, you can name these lines. Like if you want to be like super organized, you could name this, you could name it center of seating plank. Like you can actually name each of these reference planes. And I'm going to show you why. You can have very complex models with all sorts of planes, and you forget what this plane was used for and all of that. You can actually name them to be organized. All right, now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to group the reference plane with this object. So I'm going to select the object and hold Control and select the reference plane as well. So now I have both of them selected. So if I move this, notice that I'm moving both of these objects here, right? So select the seating plank and the reference plane, and I'm going to say group. So that's this icon that's right here. This icon that's right here that says create group. I'm going to choose group, and it's going to ask me, what do I want to name this group? Let's call this seating plank. Choose OK. So now both of these are groups. So now if I move this, both of them will move, right? Now in Revit, and remember this lesson, guys, if you want to center something in Revit, don't always draw them first and then you center it after. Don't try to get the even distributions while you're drawing. Draw them, just estimate the distances, and then you center it. So what do I mean by that? They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 planks here. So I'm just going to copy this 8 times. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter the distances. 4. Notice some of them even inside each other. 6, 7, 8. So notice how I just draw them randomly, right? If you look in the 3D view, they're not evenly spaced, but I have the right number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, I have 9. Right. 4 and 4. Good. 4 and 4. All right. Now, all I need to do is make sure that from a plan view, the last one need to be in the correct location. So I need to have the first one and the last one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the dimension tool that you see up top. That's the dimension tool here. And I'm going to draw a continuing dimension between all of these reference points. So I click one time, click again, keep clicking, underline every time. So what I'm doing is getting the distances between each one of these. And when I'm at the last one, I'm just going to click on the outside ones. So let me change my scale a little bit so you can see them. So notice I have all of these distances. And notice that they're not equal. They're all different. Let me make the scale a little smaller. Yeah, they're all different. And then what I'm going to do is click on that dimension line I just created. And I'm going to click this little button here that says EQ. And once you do that, Revit will automatically make all of them equal.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to run that back one more time.
I know, right? So
start from the group part, please, sir.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna leave my bench as is, and I'm gonna show. Okay, let me go back to the plan view here. Right. So, what time is it? All right, guys, we're just about out of time for this thing, so let me run through it one more time, right? So I created the first plank, which is here, right? But in order for me to use the tool that can evenly distribute in Revit, it's better do it from a center point. So I would need to have the center point of this plank here. But if I copy 2 planks, come on, Revit. Right. If I copy this plank here and copy it again, like there's no way for me to get the center point. If I go to my dimension tool, I cannot grab the center point of these, and I can't do it this way because I need to have it consistent across the each of these objects. So I need a center point. So in order to get a center point, I'm going to use a reference plane, and I just draw a center point here. This is so that I can get the center of my object. So now that I have the center, I can duplicate it. So for example, if I go copy, I can copy them like that. But of course, these are not connected. I can move the plank. Oops, I have 2 here. I can move the plank, or I can move the center line. But I need both the plank and the center line to be connected. You understand, guys? Like if I move this, it's not going to stick with that. So this is why I select both of them and I choose group. Right? And I group them. So now both of them will move. So in Revit, if you want multiple things to be distributed evenly, right? All I need to do is to have the first one and the last one. And then anything in between, it doesn't matter. It can be messed up like this. I can use my dimension tool, and as long as I draw a dimension for each of these objects, right? So I'm just clicking on the dimension lines, click outside the space one time to create it. As long as I press equal, it will align it equally for me, always. And it will actually keep it equal. So if I enlarge it or make it smaller, it will always keep this, it will always constrain to being equal.
Yeah.
All right, so that is a pretty cool feature. And this works both in the project environment and the regular environment.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, for me, it's only moving the reference lines when I press equal. It's not moving the line.
Yeah, you need to group it.
I did it.
Oh, you might be in the group. You might be in the group. So just like you were using SketchUp, if I double click, I'm now in the group where I can move the elements separately. See? So make sure you're not in the group. When you click on it, you're supposed to get this dotted line around it to tell you that these objects are grouped.
Yes, sir, but I did that, but I'm not in the group. Just when I use the dimension line and press the reference line, it's only moving to the equal.
Even though they're grouped?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I can replicate that problem. Because when you choose the dimension line, don't you click on the reference lines? Hold on. So if you move the group, everything moves?
Yes, sir. Everything.
Unless... No, but I'm not sure why. Because once you move it, if you type in a dimension, yeah, it will move both of them. But you're saying that when your dimension, when you put it in, it's moving just the reference line, even though it's grouped?
Yes, sir.
Sir, that just happened to me as well.
And you chose group, not. No, well, they only have group. Okay, all right. Ungroup it and group it again. And I'm not sure if there's an option there that you click. So when you click on this, you get the option to select elements, edit group, ungroup. You get these options here.
Yes, sir.
So choose ungroup. And right. And you are in a plan view when you when you ungroup it, of course, they're going to move as separate elements, right?
Is there like should I select the plan first or the reference line?
No, it doesn't matter. You just select both of them and choose group. And it asks you if you want to name the group, and you choose OK. And now you see the dotted line around it. So now once you move one, both will move. Are you sure you use reference plane and not reference line? You use reference plane?
Yeah, the reference plane is dotted, right? Sorry,
yeah, correct. Yeah. And it's still doing the same thing. All right. Here, what I'm going to do. I will check that at the end of the class because I'm not sure what anybody else. So, two are you getting that? What version of Revit are you using?
I think it's 2024.
2025, sir.
I mean, that shouldn't matter. It should be the same thing. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let me see if I solve that one afterwards, because we're going to move into creating the site. So now, so after you make these like this, so don't worry about it. Just place a couple planks on top of the bench, and we'll solve that issue later. All right. So now you should have something. Oops. Now you should have something like this. Oh, actually. Right. Oh, man. Wait a minute. What did I do? Go back to top view. What did I do wrong? Is this one here? Okay. Oh, because yeah. You have to be careful how you draw these dimensions because they will constrain what you draw. So just make sure that you only put it to these lines here. Right. There we go. Right. All right. So you guys should have something like this. You guys should have something like that by now. So what I want you to do is to save. All right. And then the next thing that you're going to do, the last thing you're going to do now, you're going to place this in your model. So I'm going to close this window. So in order to do that, up here where you see these two icons, well, firstly, you need to open your foundation that you created last week. So I opened mine. Here it is. So you should have the foundation also open. Oops. There we go. You should have the foundation also open. All right. So I'm going to go back to my reference model here. And then what you're going to do is right, you're going to choose load into project. That's this icon that you see right here. And when you choose load into project, it's actually going to ask you to place it now. So I'm going to place mine right there. And that's it. I now have my bench. I seem to have messed up something here. Yeah, I did. It's because of when I was showing the examples here. So let me go back to my 3D view here. Come on. Yeah. Right. This is supposed to be 2x4. Yeah, I changed it when I was demonstrating stuff to you. I think it's supposed to be out this way by 4, which is okay. And oh no, it's supposed to be in here, right? Let me go to my plan view and I'm gonna move this in and move this in. Yeah, change this. All right, there we go. So I'm going to choose load into project again. And it's going to ask me, do I want to overwrite? So I'm going to say yes, overwrite the existing version and its parameter. And then it's just going to replace it. Oh, I need to change that part right there. Crap. Oh, because I moved that. Okay. Yeah. Move this over by 2 inches. Oh, I see now. Okay. It's this guy here. It needs to come like that. Yeah. Okay. Load into project, and I'm going to replace it again. There you go.
Sir, it's not loading into mine. I have both open and it's not loading.
Oh, so when you no, all right, look, let me delete it here. When you go to let me go back here. When you go to load into project, it's if you don't see it, it is actually there in your project. Just go to architecture and go to component, and you will see it. You should see it as a component for you to add. Here it is, bench. Do you see it?
Component. Okay, 1 second. Hello, family. But what can I? 1 second.
No, hold on. Remember, when you load it into your project, it is now in. It is. Usually you get the option to place it same time, but even if you don't get the option to position it, it's actually loaded in the project. It's in your library of families for this project. And how you access that is that you go to component and you will see it there. You will see it.
Sorry, but still I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not loading. I don't know.
So when you go to component, you don't see when you go to component and in the properties tab, you don't see like a list of objects and one of them is the bench.
Oh, I'm seeing it.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing it.
So then you click on it and then you will see a shadow of it when you hover over the your foundation.
Quick one, sir.
Yeah.
The planks, what is seat on is 1x3 or 1x2?
1x2. All right. So guys, whenever you want to model something, this is what you would do. You would model it in the family modeling environment and then you place it in your project. If you download a family from the internet, You can open it in the family modeling environment and change it, right? Which is pretty cool. And we're going to do that as a class activity. I'm not telling you when that's going to pop up. It might be next week or it might be a month. We'll see. But we're going to actually download a family and we're going to modify it. In this case, we created a family from scratch, from nothing, you know. But you can imagine that sometimes you want an object and you can't get the exact object that you want, but if you could only just edit it a little bit, so you would use the same tools to edit a family and then you would load it into your project and place it. All right, now here's what we'll do, guys. We're gonna switch gears to creating the terrain, and it's really simple to create. It will take only like about 20 minutes or so, right? I'll give you till the rest of today to give this to me, right? Not the terrain, the class activity that we did today.
Sir, what do we need to submit then? Just a picture of the file.
Oh, for this?
Yeah.
It usually is both. Usually I take a screenshot and a picture. I'm gonna put the where did you submit the class activity last time? I'm gonna put a link so you can submit it, the RFA file to me. All right. But we have an hour left, and I want us to move into the terrain. So even if you haven't completed the bench, that's fine. Let's finish it later. All right. If you reach halfway. For right now, I want us to now put our site, our foundation on our site. All right. So don't worry if you don't have the bench. You can send it to me. A little later. All right, guys. Okay, you guys know it's a good time to stretch, have a drink of water, and if you have some tea, because I know this class is a little early, just take a stretch and let us go into the terrain.
Quick one, sir. How you select two things one time?
Hold control.
Hold control while selecting the two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can draw a box over them, you know, highlight. Right highlight, anything in the box becomes selected. Left highlight, anything the box touches becomes selected. So for example, this is right highlight, so anything in the box becomes selected. So where I start from left and go to right. Left highlight, where I start from right and go to left. Anything that touches the box gets selected. You see that? Or I could just hold control and notice the little plus icon on the cursor when I hold control. So that means anything I click becomes selected. And then if I hold shift, anything I click becomes deselected. All right, guys? So that is one. Thanks for asking that question. That's a useful tip. All right.
Okay, so now that we have the base, now we're going to create the terrain. And if we look,
it's terrain time. Everybody with me? Alina, you stretch yet? Take a break.
Okay, I'm here.
Take a breather. And we continue. Don't worry if you don't get the family editor thing. We will do some more of it. But that, as I'm telling you guys, a lot of people find stuff to edit stuff on the internet, like different families, but it's not quite what you want and you needed to modify it. Yeah, that's your secret weapon right there. All right, knowing how to manipulate the family editing. All right, Swaby, you ready? Swaby here. Oh no. No, yes, I don't see Swaby. No Swaby. Leonardo, ready? Where's Leo? All right. I don't know if Swaby and Leo is ready, but I know Evelyn is ready. You ready, Evelyn?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let us proceed.
At our original sketch, the idea was that we would have the building kind of sitting halfway between the land and the water, right? Kind of like this. This is what we had. And also we had some reference images. So in order to create our terrain, we're going to go here. We're going to go back to architectural, to the level 1 plan. Now, to make this easier, what we're going to do is we're going to switch. This is Revit 2024, so it has a dark mode. Because we're dealing with terrain, we're going to switch it to, so we're going to go to view and switch to light. All right, because I think some of the colors will work a little bit better, right? So, okay, so the general idea, this is a section line. We're going to just put it down here. All right, the general idea is we have something like our land, which is something like this, and then we have these terrain lines, and it's basically sloping downwards to the water, and then we have the water that's here. So that's basically what we're going to repeat here. Now the difference is we are going to do it a little bit more efficient than what we had in the sketch, but we're still going to reference our sketch. So first thing we need to do, we need to grab the sketch that we had. That's this. So I had saved it out into a file. So now I'm going to go to manage. I'm going to go to, yes, manage, and then I'm looking for links, right? Manage links. And what I'm going to, if I look on the images, I see where I have already inserted this link already, right? So we did have this link here. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose OK. We can go back to our schematic sketch. Here we had this, and we're going to copy this over to floor plan. We're going to paste it in here.
Sir, are you speaking?
Notice when we paste it, it's pretty big. Now,
not the real version, not the current version of me. Why you ask? You're not hearing anything?
Oh, I wasn't, no.
Oh, none of you were hearing anything?
Subject specific terms and
Yes, sir, I was hearing it.
Oh, okay. Okay, are you seeing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll fix the issue, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Text type that.
We are going to make it a little smaller, and we are going to, the most important thing is that we need to know what these levels are, and we also need to scale it. So in our case, and I don't think this drawing was to scale anyway, so we will take these contours with a grain of salt, so to speak. So if I put it like here, so it's round about there where I had the water kind of going in here, right? Now, if my contours were very specific, I could actually trace this view here. So that's what I'm going to do. So
So guys, what you realize is that in my model, I've carried in my sketch. Remember that first sketch that you guys... Mic check. Oh yeah, you heard me. Right. Remember that first sketch that you guys did?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is what I did there. Just going to the... Right. Just going to my plan view. And just simply... Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I have a random request because the file that I used to make my sketches, I can't find it. So I was wondering if you could send me back the
Send it
file.
back to you? Yeah, man, no problem.
Yeah, that's Davina.
Davina Thompson. All right, cool. I'll send it in the group. So let's look out for it. Right. So all I did was drag the sketch in to my Revit scene. Now, even if the sketch isn't like super accurately scaled, like we just need a rough estimation. All right. So it must just be, you're basically just trying to position the building inside of where you had highlighted where you want the building to go, right? The great thing is that because we're dealing with terrain and landscape, you don't have to worry about it being too precise, right? Because it's organic stuff, you know, grass and earth and those things are organic, so they move around.
I'm going to extend my page boundaries, or if I want, I can just turn it off, and I can just disable it and turn it off, right? All right, now, first thing we want to do, we don't want to have a square land because that's going to affect our 3D views because the world doesn't end, you know, right here. So what we're going to have is more of a rounded view, rounded base, and make it a little bit bigger. And that way we'll be able to, when we're doing 3D views, it won't look so weird. So to do this, we're going to head over to Massing on Site. We're going to go to Topo Solid, and we're going to insert using a circular tool. But before we do that, we're going to go on the right level. Now, according to this, we wanted the land to be at around 0 here. Now, this is a sketch, so it may not have been very practical for some of the elements, but one thing that we want to keep in mind is the slope. We do have the slope, 1 meter slopes that's happening. So what we would do is we would set our Topo Solid to be, we want to set that to be below the ground floor. So perhaps we will do waterline. So if you remember from our original sketch, we did determine that we want to have a waterline that is below the top of foundation, right? So that's what we're going to do. So we have the waterline level, and we want to draw the initial solid on the waterline level, the Topo Solid, which is the topography. Now we're using the circle tool because we want to actually draw something like this. And then let's see if we can move it to like center. So now we make it a little bit bigger, and we don't have these hard corners which would look kind of weird when you render a view and it looks like the hill just ends at a weird corner. So we're not going to have that. All right, so now that we have that, now we're going to choose OK, and then we have our base that looks like that. So if we look,
so Davina, I sent you back your sketch. All right, so guys, so what I'm doing so far, I'm creating this giant base that we're going to use as the terrain base, right?
In our 3D view, we're going to have something that looks like this. And if we go to shaded, this is the general color. It has a little bit of a thickness that's here. And these are all things that you can set in the settings. Now, what we need to do now is insert the contour lines. It's a little tricky because we can't see the contours, but we could go to wireframe, and that will allow us to see these contour lines here. Now, the general idea is that we want to trace these contour lines, but we also want to extend them to the edge of the circle. The more important thing is we want to keep the levels, right? So what we need to do is to click on the topo solid, and then we're going to choose add points. Now, when we add points, we're simply adding a contour line to our drawing. Now, when we talk about contours, if we look on our example here, we can see that how contour lines work is each point represents an area on a slope, right? So if we should cut this contour, this terrain in half, and we look at where the points intersect and we plot a graph, you can see that this point here is equal to this point here, and this point here is equal to this point here, and so forth. And if we draw a line, we can now get an idea of the slope. So each of these contour lines has a different height. That's the difference. So this height here is taller than this height, is taller than this height, and so forth. And for every time we plot a height, we connect them to get the slope. So to create these contour lines, what we're going to do is we're going to look at these levels closely, and we are going to trace them based on these levels. However, we're going to extend the lines all the way to our boundaries, or circular boundary. So to do that, we're going to go to massing on site. Well, we already have the massing, so we're just going to click on it, and then we're going to choose add points, and these points here are equivalent to the actual height of each contours. So what we're going to do is we have to make sure that we choose absolute, because we want the points to change height based off of a fixed location, and that fixed location we're going to make it be the current level. So the current level, we're at waterline, so it's kind of like saying this is the water level, and every level we do is going to be based on referencing that water level. So it's going to be above the water level or below the water level, right? So make sure you choose current level here, and make sure that we're going to choose a different height. So the first thing we're going to choose is 1 meter, so 1000 millimeters, and then we're going to trace this off that 1000 millimeter line. Now, as we trace these points here, a good rule of thumb is to maybe try to make them even as possible. It doesn't have to be super precise. Remember that a terrain is organic, right? So it's supposed to be like messy. Now, when it goes beyond where you have sketched, you're just going to make this up.
Sure.
And you're going to go all the way to the edge here.
Sure. For some reason, when I click on mine, it just does like this radial thing.
That's
yes, sir.
That's okay.
It look like a blob.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, because the reason it's doing that is just all right. So right. The reason it's doing that. Oh crap! I'm not seeing it.
Oh, sir, I got it. Never mind. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Because the more you draw the lines, is the more the terrain will take its form. So let me put this to waterline. That's down here. So like that. Right. So whenever you draw architectural, it's below. this 3D. Come on, Revit. Right. Okay. Right. So when you choose to add a point, depending on how far, so I'm going to choose current level, depending on how far above or below this is. So if I just put a point here, right, if I just put a point here, oops, 3000, put 1 point here, this single point that I've placed here is each point is basically sculpting the terrain as you move forward. So for example, if this point was, oh crap, it's not going to, oh, that's fine. Can you see it in 3D? Not really, but the more you place the points, let me make this 10,000 just to show you. Right, you guys can see that height, right? So it's gonna look weird when you just place a point in the middle, but then as you place more and more points, so let me put more and more points at 10. I'm just showing you an example here. All right, then press escape. You can see it's going to start outlining that edge. And these circles that you're seeing on yours is simply just the contour lines, because Revit is going to automatically grade it back down to the base. So that is why you see these circles come when you deselect. All right. All right. You guys with me? Right.
And we're going to continue this side. It doesn't matter if you stop here, then continue there. It doesn't matter. All right. So we are going to continue this. Oops. I think my height wasn't set, so I'm going to set that back to 1000. Yeah, all right, cool. Now, if you get any messages while you're drawing this, just choose OK and ignore it, because as you notice, you can see these lines.
Sir, why you set it to the 1000?
And if
because my first contour is 1 meter.
Oh, okay, all right.
Right.
Cool.
So whatever your contour is, if you're going up, but I mean 1 meter is the typical, but if you're going up by 2 meters and so forth, you're going to set it to that height.
Sir, so what if you want, sir? So what if because you set it to the water level, right? And you want to leave that as like your 0 line, and you want to go down like a minus and go up like plus. Could you do it that way as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
So because when you choose absolute and choose your elevation base level, whatever figure you put, plus or minus, is going to be based on that base level. So for me, I choose the waterline level. It's almost like I'm saying 1,000 meters, 1,000 millimeters above water. That's what I'm saying. But your base level could be anything. You could have chosen your roof level, and if you write 1,000, it's going to be 1,000 higher than whatever you set for your roof level. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
If I bring up my 3D view, you can see where you're starting to get some heights, which it might look a little funny now, but as we go, we'll see the difference. So I'm going to leave this view here, and I'm going to dock it to the right, and we're going to continue drawing this contour. So we're going to choose this, and we're going to go to add points again. This time we're going to go up to 2000 millimeters, and we're going to look for that 2000 line, and then we are going to do the same. Now I want this to pretty much be averagely the same distance between these points here. You don't have to be super scientific about it, just kind of sketch it. And then of course we're going to make up these areas here. So you can see that the slope is starting to take form.
Wait,
let's
sir,
make up these areas here.
did you press enter for the first point?
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No, I just click, so you don't need to press enter. Once you choose add point, you're going to go in like a mode for adding points, and you just click, and every time you click, a new point will come. So you don't have to like press enter. I'm not sure if I
Okay,
understand.
so when I'm finished with one line, I can just press add point again and then change the elevation?
Change the elevation. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The land will just morph to the next point, just like what you see happening here.
And we're going to do the same thing now with 3000. I'm going to go ahead and draw that. As I said, you're not trying to be like super precise, so you want it to be as organic as possible. All right, and you can see our terrain is coming to life. Let's keep going. So then we got 4000. Oops. If you accidentally edit, just choose OK and just select the contour and go back to add point. And we're going to always ensure you put in the height, because it's going to default to 0. All right, so 4000. Remember, all of these heights are referencing the water line level, right? So that's why we put that level there. And we're going to keep going. 6000. Now, when you come to the last one, we don't want to have the landscape like going back down, because that's basically what it's going to do, start to go back down here. So we want to make these up. So I'm just going to continue the trend, put this at 9,000. So to click it and go to add point. Wait, this is actually at 0. So if you make this mistake, so like I drew this and it was at the 0, I believe. So, but you can actually go back and edit these points here. Just draw a box, or you can click on them, or you can just draw a box around them like this. Hold Control, and you can actually modify these points. So I'm going to put this to 9,000. There we go. Then I'm gonna continue. So I'm going to go to add point and 10,000. And I'm just gonna do that one here. And I'm going to just do another like here. Oops. Yes, this is 10. Oh no, this is 1,000. So I'm gonna put 10. There we go. That always catches me. Point. The trick is that when you type something in any one of these options, once you move the mouse outside it, it's like pressing the enter button. So if you move outside, then press enter, then you're gonna actually do the last command. So just remember that. So if you type up here and you move the mouse out, you don't need to press enter. It will press enter for you. Yeah, I think this point here is lower. I think I undo that last thing I did. So yeah, this should be 9. There we go. All right, so this is our terrain, and we could actually change these points here. So I'm gonna put this at 10. Put this one at 10. Maybe this looks a little weird, so I'm going to put I'm going to put these here.
Doing mine right now.
Say again?
No, I'm putting on my contours right now, but after a while, the higher it goes, it stops showing. Is it because of the level that the terrain is on?
Yeah, you mean it stopped showing in plan?
Yeah, it stops showing in plan.
Yeah, that's normal. If you look in 3D view, you'll see it.
All right, sir.
9. Oh, sorry, no, this is a 10. I need to deselect it because I have them selected. Right, then I go to add point and then put 9. Right. And yes, we do need to save. Oh, I think I know the problem here. This is at 9 and this is at 10. Ah, this is also at 9. Okay, so I'm going to select these. And I'm going to put them at 9,500. There we go. So it kind of slopes less. Let's go to add point and put 9,500. Actually, I can just select this point. I think there's a point here already. 9,500. And then I can select this point from the 3D view. And this one here looks like it should be at 9,000. All right. All right, let's save. It's a good point to save. So I'm going to save as again. Now we're going to go below the water. So this was from 1 up. So now we're going to go -1. So we are going to go to add point, and now we're going to go -1. That's great. Now we're going to go -2. Oops. Yeah. Yes. So the reason we're getting that is because we are going below the thickness of the slab. So we need to fix that actually. So let's see if we can say, right. So the issue we have is that the thickness of our terrain is such that we can't go any lower. But we can fix that if we click on the terrain here and go to edit type, and we see that we can change the structure of the terrain just like how we can change the structure of the floor slab, right? Because technically it is a slab. It's just that it's made out of earth and sand and grass. So we can let the earth go down by like, I don't know, like 5,000 millimeters. So we can make it 5,000 millimeters thick. So now the earth is much thicker. So we can now continue to go downwards within this thickness. So let's go back here and let's see. So we are at minus, so we need to be at minus 1. So we're going to do that now. So we're going to go to add point and we're going to say minus 1,000.
Wait, sir, where did you change the scale? In edit type?
In edit. Yeah,
Wait.
edit type.
Instructor?
Yes. Do you see it?
And then which one is it? Oh, Earth?
Right, there you go.
Change it to 5. Okay. Thank you.
1 already, so it's really minus 2,000. Then minus 3,000. Then what we can do is pretty much the rest of the points we can make it flat. So we could actually in the 3D view select these other points, so that this point here, and we can just make this point be minus 3,000. There we go. So now it goes down and pretty much just levels out. All right, and there we have it. We now have our terrain. And we have it where we can see that we have our land and then we have our building that's now here.
Sir, how can I change the thickness of the
Okay,
terrain?
so now that
look in the edit type settings.
Also, sir, what dimensions are used for your footing?
It varies. For me,
oh.
it's totally based on you. Whatever you want to use, right, for your design. Yeah.
Okay.
But they just make it reasonable. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
we have the site, we do need to add a few more elements. So for reference, we are going to be adding some trees and a water body, right? So we're going to add the water body out here. So first thing, so let's add the water body. Now to do that, we can go to our floor plan and we can actually hide this. Let's hide this element.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but I can't come out of modify. It says modify / create total solid bound. Like, I'm not.
Right. So do you see a checkbox that you tick to confirm what you modified?
Yeah, but I'm not finished. I don't know, and it's not allowing me to do the little pinpoints anymore.
Right. So all right. So let me see. You are in the tool. So let's say that you are on level 1. And I'm going to go to modify. No, you go to add points. Hold on, are you on add points? Or are you on modify?
No, I can't see add points anymore. It says modify, create total solid bound.
Oh, hold on. Are you on the edit sketch? I think that's where you are.
Yes, I think that's the one I'm on. But I don't want to lose what I've done so far.
In what? In the modifying the height?
Yes, in the thing where you put the points.
No, you won't lose it because the sketch only changes the shape of the terrain. So if I choose cancel, it will go back to the points that you created.
Okay. And then I can get back the point, or I just press add point again.
Right. There you go.
Okay. Oh yes.
All right.
Here, and if you notice, when you look at the site element, you notice that it's cut here, and the reason it's done that is because this is where our cut plane is, right? If we look at the side view, maybe this side would be better, right? You can see that we do have our level, and then we have a cut plane, so it is cutting the terrain as well. Right now, that doesn't necessarily matter for us, but in terms of doing a construction drawings, you would want to adjust your view range so that you're able to see the full terrain for your site plan. In our purposes, we're not going to be creating site plans, but I just mentioned that as a FYI information. All right, so let's work on our land now. So we go to top view, and for the water, I'm thinking that we can also do a curve as well. So we're going to do a custom shape for that. So for that, we're going to go to the model in place. So we're going to choose model in place, and we are going to model, and we can model under these categories. I don't think water is a category, so we're just going to choose generic model and choose OK. And we're going to name this water level. We're going to call this water object or something like that, or water surface. All right.
So what is that, a mass?
This is going to change.
It's a...
Did you use a mass?
Oh no, this is actually model in place. So you go to wait, where's the Revit? Hold on. Right. On the component, you click the drop down and you go to model in place. Yeah.
Sir, can you just give us 2 minutes, please, just to like finish up the negative side?
All right, no problem. No problem.
What did you select when you hit model in place?
It's under architecture.
Yeah.
Component. But
No, I
you
mean
choose
for the
choose
parameter.
the down arrow.
Yeah. I mean for the parameters.
Let me see. When you go model in place.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean which one?
Yeah.
Generic. Yeah. You can just select a generic model.
There, I was looking at the video. What's the generic model for?
So, right, it's for the water. So remember.
You're just going to make a slab and then change it to water.
Right.
Oh, okay.
You remember when we created that family earlier?
Yeah.
And we started using a template, in furniture template.
Yes, sir.
So that is what gave it the category. But with the model in place now, you still have to choose a category.
Yeah.
but there's no
Okay.
water category, so yeah.
So we're just going to draw the shape of the water and then just change the material.
Basically. But we're going to draw it in a kind of a curve. So let me show you that.
Up here to some modeling tools. So for example, we can extrude and do these modeling functions. For what we're going to do, we just need to do an extrusion. That's pretty straightforward. So we're going to click extrude. And what I'm suggesting is the water is going to go a bit
Wait, sir, can you go back for just a little
Oh,
bit?
right. I forget. Some of you were asking for 5 minutes, so
Yeah,
let me give you
I
5
think
minutes.
no, sir. But I just didn't catch the part where you started the water. So I was just asking to just
Right. So you go to architecture.
Okay.
Then you go to component.
Yeah.
But you're going to select the drop down arrow below components.
Oh.
And then you go to model in place.
Okay.
There.
And then we use the generic category. Because it's not a furniture or we don't have water. So whenever you're using model in place, or whenever you have to create a family and it don't really have a category, like suppose you want to create a dog. I don't know why you would, but let's say you wanted to create a dog. There's no category for animals, so you probably have to choose generic. Yeah, what's your question?
There, I have an issue with the terrain. It just goes infinitely. I don't know. I'm trying to put it in a base level, and it's not working.
Okay, so when you say base level, what do you mean?
Like it will start from the base level up to whatever the floor level is.
Right.
But it's not. It just goes infinitely, and I just have it at 4,000.
Right.
The thickness and.
This is the thickness, right? And what's happening?
It just goes infinitely down, so just like it has no end, so I cannot do the contours.
This is when you're setting the thickness of the terrain, right?
Yeah, but it's not allowing me to change. I mean, it's just I don't know what to do.
So, all right. Thickness of the terrain. Hold on. So when you click on the terrain and you go to edit type, right? And then you see that dialog box comes up, looks like this. And then you go to structure. So that makes you choose the thickness. So you're saying that the thickness goes down to infinity or the point?
Infinitely.
The thickness of the entire terrain?
Yes.
Right. So you have to go in here and look. Maybe you put like 1,000,000 or something for the thickness?
No, it just right now it's just at 500. But still.
But 500 what? If it's 500 meters, then yeah, that will take you to infinity.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I found out. It's just I think we're working in different values.
Right. Because I'm working in millimeter.
All right. Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah. All right, let us proceed. Funny enough, when I was building the bench, I was working in Imperial, but in the model, we're working in metric. So yeah, that's a point to note. Oh, right.
But I would want the water to be a little bit wider than the terrain actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the circle tool, and I want to be, I will set the levels after we draw this. Let me see if I can. Yeah, let me go and set my ground plane, and I'm going to set it to be waterline. Right. So now I'm going to draw a circle. Kind of like that. And this circle, I think I'm going to move it down, maybe like about that. So this becomes my water, because this part of the water is going to be pretty much inside the land. So this is fine. In terms of my extruded height, so I can click this here. I'm going to choose OK. And then so it starts here and I want it to go negative. So I want the thickness of my water to be like, maybe, because, you know, I don't need for the top of the water to have a thickness. I just need the water to go to the ground. I could use a 3D view and I could just adjust the thickness of this to meet the ground like that. So now I have something like this and I'm going to choose OK. All right, so that's great. Of course, I can select this now and I can change the material. So I can go where it says generic models. I can go to edit type.
So how much you put for the start and end?
For the water?
Yeah.
I mean, you can, what did I put? Like 300 or so? It just it don't really matter.
Oh, all right.
Because you're not going to see the edge. But whenever we're doing the rendering, it just needs to be big enough. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to see the edge of the earth when you're rendering, you know?
So no problem.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna give everybody a little while.
Wait, sir, when we edit type, we're gonna change the water to blue, right? Because right now mine is gray. Or
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're ready, sir.
Okay, cool. Let's proceed.
And really not here. We have to go into the model that we created. So like this, it's kind of like, think of it as kind of like a wrapper. And inside that wrapper is the model we created. So we need to open this wrapper by going to edit in place, right? So it's just telling us that we have some duplicate values, but that's okay. Now we're inside the model. Now we want to, so inside the model, we can change things like the height and the shape and all of this stuff and the material. So we're gonna go, make sure we're under modify. We're gonna go here to the materials tab and we're gonna find water. And we're just going to click the surface here, and we could actually just click the side as well and the bottom. So this whole thing is just water. And we choose done, then we choose OK. All right, so now we have So water level, that's there. Now remember, we are going to go ahead and render these views. So we're not going to worry too much about the water material and these things. We just need it to be represented here. All right, now the next thing we want to do is we need to add maybe some trees. Now to do that, we're going to need to import those families. So we need to go to insert, and then we're going to
doesn't want to change.
Mine either. It's still gray.
Yeah.
It's still gray. All right. So let me see. When you create a object, come on this screen. Let me make sure that you have the materials right. I'm just gonna create a sample really quickly. There we go. Okay. You sure? Okay. So this is what yours looks like. So let me see. When you change the material here, when you go into the material settings, but I still have, okay, I still have it. So the appearance is here.
Okay, sir, I got it. I just have to change the by category. Water.
Oh, hold on. Where did you change it by category? Because when you
in the family properties.
Right. So when so when you go in when you click on the here and you go to the material, didn't you go to the material editor and then you choose water here?
I actually went to the material editor under the modify tab. Where it says paint. That's why I went.
Oh, you use paint. All right. I mean,
that's
that's
cool.
That's
Wait,
the one
so
that
answer,
did.
what did you do?
Just select the water and then under materials and finish in your properties tab on the left. Just select the material.
See materials. I just have constraints dimension.
You're not seeing something that says generic models in your properties tab?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm on generic models.
Yeah,
but there's no materials and finishing.
Really? There's no
Yeah.
materials and finish.
So hold on. So when you click on the object, right?
Yeah.
In your properties tab, it says materials and it says by category here, right?
I'm not seeing materials and finishes.
Sir, she probably pressed and never pressed edit in place.
All right. So
Yeah,
when
it's probably
yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. So when you click it, come on, Revit. When you click it, you have to go to you have to edit this object. So to do that, you would need to click edit in place here or double click it. So when you go edit in place now, that's when you can actually change the properties of the object. So kind of think of it like think of it. You remember when we were doing the extrude in the family editor? So for example, when I'm in edit mode, right? I can have make another shape here. And let me make another shape here. All right, let me choose OK, and I'm going to choose finish. Now, when I click on this, all of these shapes highlight. So if I wanted to go inside of this model in place element to change them, I would need to now go to edit in place, and that allows me to now select them independently And I can do things like, you know, change the width or whatever, and that change the material. You understand? So you just have to go into model in place in order to change them, and in order to change the material.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, cool.
Okay.
All right, let's proceed
to load family. And we are going to look under the same US category, and then we're going to look for site. And under site, we see a few things here. So let's go to, no, actually not site. We're going to look for plant and planting, right? And then these are actually family groups. So we can choose tropical and open that. Then now when we go to architectural, that comes under the component category. So we can go to add component, and here we go. Now the good thing is that this is 6 feet tall, but if you click this, there are different types of tropical plants. So for example, we have a hurricane palm that's 12, and all you need to do is just stick them randomly. Let's go with the grass palm. The tallest one is the royal palm, so this one is pretty tall. So we can place these.
Wait, sorry, go back outside, please, from when you started the country.
Right. So let me go here.
Then now when we go to architectural, that comes under the component category. So we can go to add component.
Because remember, you need to load them first. So did you load them?
Sir.
You said yes?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So right. So you need to go to load family, and then you look under planting. Oh crap. Let's realize it.
Allowing me to load. Don't you press the down arrow and then press place a component?
Right. So when you go to,
oh, there it is.
Okay, you found them?
Yeah.
No.
And you went to which family? Trees.
Whenever you load it, so when you go to components and you load that planting family, it will come up for browsing. Right. Planting, and you would choose the type of trees. So you load the tropical.
Okay.
And then now, just in case you can't find it, you go when you're under architecture and under component. See, there are different types of trees. So you have to load it first, and then you go into it.
Oh, now the good thing is like this is 6 feet tall, but if you click this, there are different types of tropical plants. So for example, we have a hurricane palm that's 12, and all you need to do is just stick them randomly. Let's go with the grass palm. The tallest one is the royal palm, so this one is pretty tall. So we can place these. And then again, guys, this is just representational. So then what we could do, let's go back to insert and load family. We could load some of these deciduous. Yeah. Now, you might notice that these trees look a little weird because they're like flat, and that's because it's using a type of let's call it a tree plugin that's called RPC trees. I'm going to just mix it up a little bit, so I'm going to choose this other one here. And what it is, it looks plain in the viewport, but when it renders, it looks like an actual tree. Now, we're not too much worried about that because we are not going to be rendering in Revit anyway, but we're still going to place these objects, which will make rendering in other programs much easier. All right, so we're going to save this. And for good measure, what we're going to do is we are going to create a new 3D view. We're going to create a camera view that will give us a perspective shot so we can kind of see how everything is looking. So we're going to go to view. And then we're going to go under 3D view, we're going to go to camera. And how this works is you click and drag and it's going to create a view. So I'm going to drag all the way at that and release. I'm going to set an angle. Okay, let me press escape. Let me do that again. I want to do it from this side and then click. And then you will notice it generates this 3D view. And I can move around and stuff. So you can see how everything is coming together so far. Okay, so we have created the foundation structure and the terrain, and this is how we are looking currently. Okay, so now, all right, okay guys, so that is it for terrain. All right, now mic check. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. Okay, good. All right. That is it. I have gone a little bit over the class time, right? If you notice, when you go to if you refresh the website, I go here. When you refresh the website, so far we've gone 3 class activities. So I gave you activity 1, which was a checkpoint where you submit your class sketch. If you submit that same day, you get that point. Most people got that. Then there was an activity 2 where if you submit what was it? The foundation, right? So last week. So I was like, okay, for those of you that finished the foundation, you submit it to get point towards a class activity.
Sir, I object. I think we should get the point today. That has the terrain and the foundation.
All right, fine. Because I was just about to say, literally only 2 people submitted the foundation that day, right? So I tell you what, I'll give you guys time to redeem yourself, right? So for the class activity 2, give me the terrain and the foundation together, and I will record you as participated in class activity 2. All right, guys?
Sir, we should submit it on the major project thing.
Yeah. Submit it on the major project thing. This thing carries you to the same place, so it doesn't matter. Well, I need to change it because we just made a deal a while ago. So let me update that. But you can use the project submission page or this. It carries you to the same place, right? However, for class activity 3, that is the bench. So the deal is that you have to give me the bench today, right? You don't have to give me the bench on your deck. You can do that later. You need to give me the bench and a screenshot of the bench today, and that's how you get the points for class activity 3. All right? All right, guys, that is it for class today.
Class activity 2 and 3 today?
Well, yeah, I kind of give you an extension on class activity 2 for today.
Okay.
So yeah, both of them today then.
Could I speak to you before you leave?
Sure. For the rest of you guys, like 10 minutes over the time, so I will see you guys later for the presentation of group 3 and 4, topic 3 and 4. It's supposed to be today. All right.
Wait, sir. I see you added the big foundation at the bottom. I should do that, right? the big blocks. We didn't add that in the last one.
Yeah, because you want it to be somewhat representation of reality. So in reality, they would normally put these piles down into the ground, and then they would put the timber in the piles, right? The timber can go straight in the ground, but usually that would cause it to wear a lot quicker. So you would have a concrete pile that come up. So
okay, sir.
The main thing I'm grading for is that it must at minimally be reasonably show that you consider construction. You don't have to give me the nuts and the bolts, but you can't just give me like a big mass and another mass going another mass. You know what I mean? So you would show some kind of understanding of how structure works. Remember, the tips are on the mirror board, so you can always look on the mirror board to get an idea of those different types of foundation.
Okay, sir, got you.
Cool.
How to upload the bench?
Oh, the link is on the website now. Just refresh the website and you should see the button come up now for class activity number 3. All right.
Okay, cool.
We can just submit it uneven for the bench with the scratch on the top. The plank.
If you can submit it, go again.
Like the planks that are uneven, we can just submit it like that.
Oh yeah, because you were having a problem with that's fine. That's fine. The main thing is that I need to see evidence that you participated in the class activity. That's what you're really getting the mark for, right? For participating in class, right? So yeah, even if they're not even, still send it to me. Somebody had a question before we left? No? All right, guys, that is it for class today. I will see you again later. I will update the class activity 2 link, so don't click that one yet. I'm going to update that to the agreement that was set today. Where you give me the terrain and the land today, you get that point. All right, have a good day, guys. See you later for the present.
Sir, remember I was asking to speak to you.
All right, that's what I was asking. Yeah. You need to go in a group, or you can just talk. What do you want?
Well, yeah, I can just talk. I was a little bit confused on something regarding 2D CAD because I had communicated with you as well as Mr. Dixon and Mr. Akindele, and you were supposed to remark for me, but you sent me an email which I only saw sometime last week, but I was a bit confused because it said to upload the work that I did in the sessions or at the end of the semester last year. However, Mr. Dixon did grant me the extension.
Oh, meaning that so the extension to complete the work. That's what you're saying?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. Just complete it and send it.
All right, sir. Got you.
Cool. All right, everybody else.
Oh, and also, sir, yeah, I would like to be added to the group. This is my first session because I wasn't sure I needed to commence before completing 2D.
Oh, okay. So you're not currently in a group.
No, sir.
Hold on. Let me get that down.
It's the same for me, sir. I'm also not in a group yet.
All right, and hold on. That is okay. Well, let me do Tariq first. All right, Tariq. So you can go in. Who hasn't presented yet? So we already revealed 5 and 6 last week. So that means those are well underway. All right. So okay, here. All right, cool. So Tariq, you are going to be in group 9, right? So you're going to look at topic 9, right? So we don't reveal that topic yet. And who else?
Daniela Webley.
All right, thanks, sir.
Okay.
All right, so that's it for me then.
That is it for you. So you just need to, the handout for those presentations, right?
No, I'm not sure, but
with the
I'll
instructions.
communicate. No, sir,
Right.
but I'll communicate with a group member.
All right, good.
For a while, and just point
Alright.
out to you that many people, when they say Jamaican
And,
dialect, they don't understand
Daniela Webley.
that a dialect
Yeah,
is
Webley.
simply a
All
form
right, Webley,
of
you're
a
going to be in
language.
group
So
7.
standard British English is
Okay,
a
sir.
dialect of English. American
All right,
English
cool.
is a dialect
So
of English.
you need to look on this to see your group members.
Believe it or
Okay,
not.
thank you, sir.
Because
Sir, could you please do a check for me as well? I started the class late, but I'm not sure what's really happening. I'm not really.
In terms of what?
I know I registered, but I'm not sure. I'm not seeing my name in the list where you have the grades and those stuff.
Collins, hold on, check. Did you register for the class website?
I did, sir.
Oh yeah, I see you. Yeah, man. Right. So what you not seeing? Hold on, you not seeing your name? You say?
I'm not. No, I'm not seeing my ID number. I'm not seeing. But I'm not sure if I'm in a group, so I don't know.
Okay. Where is this thing? Ah. Okay. Some people I don't have the ID number for. Collins is, yeah, man, you are here, but you're not in a group. So were you in the class when we were putting people in groups?
I don't think I was in that class session.
Right, I'm not seeing you.
Because as I said, I started the class late.
Yeah, okay, all right, cool. I'm gonna put you in group 10.
Okay.
All right. So, Collins. All right, I'm gonna update the group list on the website, but you can also see it on the mirror board as well. So any one of those places you can go to, you will see the group list. All right, so you can see who your group members are. Cool.
Okay, sir.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah. With the class activity number 2.
Number 2,
that's,
yeah.
Yes, that's.
So I'm changing that to today. What we did today, the terrain and the model and the foundation that you did last week. If you submit that to me today, then you will get the point for class activity 2.
I submitted the foundation last
From
week.
last class? Oh, you already get it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So just upload the terrain and the foundation.
Yeah. The terrain and the foundation, that checkpoint is officially due on Wednesday. Meaning that after Wednesday is 1% per day reduction, right? However, the deal is that on certain for the foundation, if you submitted it on the same day, you get your class participation points in addition to your regular grade. So it's like, bonus,
You can
so to
understand.
speak. Yeah. Right.
So if I submit the
So you
sheet
you
with the
already
foundation,
did the original deal was was submitting the foundation, and you already
yeah.
met that criteria, so you're good for checkpoint. You're good for class activity 2, right?
Okay, cool.
For class activity 3, just give me the bench today.
Cool.
All right, cool. Yeah, man.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any more questions?
Sorry, the handout for the bench, you said it's on the mirror board, right?
Yeah, with the measurements and stuff. Right.
Yeah.
It's on the mirror board. So if you click on it, you will see it there. All right. Just go over to the section with class activity, and you will see it over there. So. All right. I think that is it. All right. Going once, going twice. I'll see you guys later.